7. Sinister mountain stories exposed. The haunted echoes revealed will terrify you. Emma's heart raced in that old farmhouse as January winds howled, rattling the cracked walls like skeletal fingers grasping for something lost. It felt like the mountains were closing in, suffocating her hopes as she nursed her dwindling sanity. The diner's greasy floors had once felt familiar under her feet, but after losing her job, the chill crept deeper into her bones. She wrapped her 2 children tightly in blankets, staving off the cold and her terror. Each second a haunting reminder of what was at stake. The night beckoned, dark and foreboding, as shadows danced outside. The abandoned school across the street flickered briefly, its eerie glow awakening unshakable dread. What could it be? She was too tired to contemplate the unknown, yet curiosity gnawed at her like a pang of hunger. Days turned into treacherous whispers. Strange reports traveled through Edgewood Hollow, whispers of the Mountain 7 consumed by the forest's depths. Emma was pulled into their ominous tale against her will, as if Black Pine Mountain held a sinister grip on her very soul. As panic settled in, the shadows grew long. Strange occurrences enveloped her like a suffocating shroud. Whispers spiraled through her home, slithering where her children played. Each laugh echoed more faintly until it chilled her to the marrow. Mr. Roberts, the neighbor with an unsettling smile, lingered at her doorstep more frequently, cloaked in a warm aura that began to unravel her judgment. The kindness in his eyes twisted to something predatory. Her heart pounded with each visit, urging her to run, but where could she escape when danger lurked just beyond the door? The winter night arrived like a creeping specter, snow blanketing Edgewood in ghostly silence. Emma watched her children play, their laughter weaving through the air, pure, innocent joy. Yet as steam rose from her forgotten cocoa, the giggles faded. She turned in a blind panic, her voice trembling in the oppressive quiet. An icy breeze slithered through the window, rattling her bones as she peered out, breath caught in the snowy veil. Jack! Lily! The names hung in the air, unanswered. Shadows loomed, curling in the distance, mingling with the twisted trees. A heaviness grew as she stepped into that suffocating cold, her breath a panicked mist. The darkness felt alive, alive with the echoes of the Mountain 7 reaching out from beyond the grave, taunting her. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Emma's heartbeat thundered in her ears as she called again, desperation turning her voice raw. The shadows whispered, brushing against the edge of her sanity. Every instinct screamed that Black Pine Mountain was no mere backdrop, it was the cradle of dark secrets. The very people of Edgewood Hollow seemed to hold a darkness deeper than the forest. As the winds screamed in chorus with her fears, she knew she could no longer trust Mr. Roberts or the warm smiles of neighbors. Just then, in the muted silence, a distant flicker caught her eye, the bright beam of a flashlight piercing the opaque night. But was it a beacon of hope or an ominous invitation? The comfort of her home felt distant, a memory lost amidst the growing dread. Emma squared her shoulders, bracing against the biting cold, her resolve hardening. If she were to uncover the truth of the Mountain Seven, it might just cost her everything: her children, her place, her very sanity. Was she chasing shadows, or was she one step away from unearthing a horror infinitely more terrifying than she'd ever imagined? The beam of light seemed to pulse with life, flickering like a heartbeat in the darkness. Emma hesitated, her instincts battling between fear and resolve. What if it was someone who could help? Or worse, what if it was something or someone else entirely? She inhaled deeply, steeling herself against the chill creeping up her spine. With each step toward the light, the shadows seemed to recede, only to swell again behind her. Her children had vanished from view, their laughter drowned out by the whispering wind. Panic gripped her as she thought of them alone in that haunting house. Emma was torn between the glowing promise and the haunting dread. The light shifted, illuminating the skeletal frame of the school. Emma pressed closer, propelled by fear and the need for answers. People had spoken of strange happenings there, voices echoing in the empty halls, laughter that turned to screams. But no one dared to go near. Crouching behind an overgrown hedge, she peeked into the darkness. The beam seemed to originate from an open door, swinging gently on rusted hinges, as if beckoning her in. A gnawing dread churned in her stomach. She could turn back. She could head home. For her children. But then she remembered Mr. Roberts, his predatory smile, lingering stares that felt like ice against her skin. A decision burned in her mind. What was hiding in the shadows of this cursed mountain? What could make sense of the Mountain Seven, if not that very abandoned school? She grit her teeth, pushing aside the rising dread, and made her way forward. The air inside was stale, thick with dust and the scent of something rotting. She stepped cautiously, each footfall echoing. The old wooden floor creaked beneath her weight, its voice mingling with the whispers that seemed to dance through the hallways like a wicked specter. Heart raced, thumping against her chest, while her gut twisted with anxiety. A flash of movement caught her eye, and she froze. There, at the end of the hallway, she saw a figure. Cloaked in shadow, it stood still, staring back at her. Was it a person, or something worse? Dread clawed at her throat, choking her voice. "Hello?" she croaked, a small part of her wanting to run, to abandon this gamble. But the figure didn't respond. It merely pointed toward the third door on the left. Emma's breath hitched. She could turn back, the way to her children, safety, home. But that door, what lay behind it could be the truth she so desperately sought. Shaking, she took a step forward, each movement feeling like she was moving through molasses. Every instinct screamed at her, this wasn't a place for the living. She paused, listening intently. The whispering grew louder, calling her. Then she heard it, the soft sound of laughter, familiar yet distorted, creeping through the heavy air. Jack and Lily? Her heart dilated with hope and dread. What was happening? With newfound urgency, she approached the door. Was this the answer she sought, or a trap laid by the darkness? Emma pressed her trembling hand against the door, feeling the cold wood against her palm, as a chilling realization washed over her. That laughter was not just playful, but carried a sinister undertone, like the cry of the Mountain Seven beckoning from the grave. With a deep breath, she pushed the door open, ready to face whatever horror awaited her. Behind it could lie salvation or damnation. But before she could step inside, a cold gust of wind slammed the door shut behind her, echoing with a sound that chilled her to the core. A fading whisper that repeated two simple words: "Join us." What awaited her now? What secrets lay buried deep within those walls? The door rattled as if it had a life of its own, keeping Emma prisoner in the dark hallway. Her breath came in gasps, fogging the air in the thick silence. She could still hear that laughter echoing, a cruel mockery of innocence that twisted her stomach. They were here. Jack and Lily were here, but where? Join us. The words floated in her mind, haunting and heavy. She pressed her palms against the wood of the door, feeling its unyielding surface. Behind her, the figure remained, still as a shadow, but Emma could sense its gaze bore into her with a chilling intensity. She never wanted to be anywhere but with her children, so why was fear paralyzing her? "Open the door!" she shouted, surprise tinging her voice with desperation. The walls seemed to sigh around her, amplifying her cries, but the door did not budge. For a moment, the laughter faded, and a stillness draped over the school like a suffocating blanket. The urge to flee surged within her, but she wouldn't leave her kids. Wouldn't. Abandon them to whatever fate awaited them here. The whispers crawled back, slithering through the walls. Join us. They wrapped around her, a cold embrace that whispered promises she knew were lies. Gathering her courage, Emma turned to the figure, heart hammering against her ribs. This time it moved, stepping closer, the shadows swirling like mist. As it advanced, the dim light flickered, illuminating fleeting glimpses of a face enveloped in darkness. Nothing human lay in its depths, only hollow eyes that seemed to feign sympathy. "What do you want from me?" she asked, her voice trembling. The figure pointed again, gesturing toward the door at the end of the hallway, which she now felt had a gravitational pull, tugging at her very being. With no time to waste, Emma swiped her hand across the door's surface, grabbing the handle and pulling hard. It resisted, almost as if it had a will of its own. "Please, let me in," she begged, images of her children flickering through her mind like old film reels, their bright smiles. Then came the laughter again, sharper and more jubilant. Jack and Lily's voices danced through her thoughts as the door finally swung open with a creaking wail, revealing a dim room filled with relics of the past, tattered books, broken desks, and dusty photographs with faces she could hardly recognize. But the children, where were they? "Mommy!" A voice shattered the silence like glass breaking. Emma's heart leapt. There, in the corner, shadows flitting among the dust motes, she saw them, her children, their faces lit with joy, even as they seemed to glide unnaturally near the wall, almost merging with the darkness that enveloped them. "Come play with us," they called out, voices entwined in an innocent melody that sent ice coursing through her veins. The room felt like a tomb, echoing with the memories of children who had vanished here before, lost to the mountain's grasp. "No!" Emma screamed, a primal instinct dredging up the most visceral fear. She lunged forward, desperate to grab them, to pull them from the thickening shadows. But she stumbled, crashing against the worn floor. The laughter faded, and suddenly, silence wrapped around her like a shroud. As Emma lay there, immobilized by fear and realization, the figure shimmered beside her. It knelt, brushing a cold hand against her cheek, and whispered, "You can join us forever." The walls seemed to close in, and the whispers grew louder, drowning out everything else. She was no longer just a mother, no longer just Emma. She was becoming something else, something the mountain craved, something to satisfy its insatiable hunger. Would she lose herself to the darkness, or could she find a way to save her children and escape this nightmare? A flash of light erupted in the room, revealing a shape, an outline against the shadows. The figure flickered, and Emma's heart twisted. Was this finally the salvation she needed, or the final embrace of doom? She reached out, the light pulsing, and just before her fingers grazed the warmth, a loud crack echoed through the hall, shaking the very walls. And then, nothing. What had she unleashed? What could she possibly face next in this labyrinth of nightmares? Darkness clung to the room like the bitter chill of winter. Emma's heart raced, pounding like a drum, echoing the panic that swirled within her. Where had the light gone? She searched the oppressive shadows, desperate for something, anything to latch onto. "Jack! Lily!" Her voice cracked, fear pulling her deeper into its maw. The silence that answered felt like a living thing, poised, breathing, watching. A faint rustle interrupted the stillness. Emma's breath hitched. Her instincts screamed for her to rise, to run, but she lay there, gripped by a terror that overwhelmed all reason. The flicker of warmth seemed to linger, ghosting her fingertips with just the memory of its presence. The children's voices echoed in her mind, but now they warped, twisting into something darker. "Mommy." This time, the name floated through the air, not from Jack or Lily, but from the shadows. They beckoned, luring her closer, and a tremor of dread racked her body. Her children had been taken, and yet they lingered here, trapped between realms. As if to answer her unasked question, the figure shifted into the periphery of her vision, its shadow elongating and twisting grotesquely. It pointed again, not towards the door, but deeper into the room, the corner now darker than the rest, almost alive. With renewed resolve, Emma crawled toward the gathering gloom, her heartbeat loud in her ears. Each inch felt like an eternity. She reached that darkened corner, where the air grew heavy and thick like smoke. "Mommy," came the sing-song voice again, unnaturally sweet, but tinged with despair. The more she listened, the more she understood. It wasn't truly her children calling. The voices were hollow, a mocking echo of innocence that twisted and warped, reflecting her worst fears. "Leave us alone!" she shouted, feeling her throat burn as terror clawed at her. The figure twisted gleefully, the shadow growing ever larger, its hollow eyes flashing with something sinister. Doubt pierced through the layers of her past. Memories of birthday parties and bedtime stories, laughter cutting through the nightmare, now felt like a cruel mockery. A sudden chill enveloped her, freezing her resolve. The shadows danced around her, swirling and flickering like a candle caught in the wind, making her shoulders tighten. She could feel darkness breathing behind her, a soft rasping sound, like something hungry. "Join us, Emma," they beckoned in unison, crashed against her heart like waves. "Forever." Just as she was about to scream, a loud crash erupted from across the room. Emma jolted, instinctively turning her gaze to the source. The old wooden door she'd entered flipped off its hinges, slamming to the ground with a weighty thud. A figure, this one, distinct, from the first, stood framed in the doorway, backlit by the moonlight. "Emma!" The voice was rough but familiar. "Michael?" Hope flickered within her, brightening the shadows until they felt fragile, unsteady. Here was salvation, her husband, not just a figure cloaked in darkness. But before she could call out again, the malevolent figure sneered and surged forward, mist spiraling violently around it, anger twisting its form. Emma's breath became shallow, trapped in a vice grip as the walls shuddered. "Leave now, leave!" Michael cried, but the shadows began to shift, closing in, taunting, reaching for both of them. "What do we do?" Emma gasped, struggling to rise even as the chilling touch of fear clung to her limbs. His eyes darted around the room, scanning for escape, but it was too late. The whispers surged, drowning out the chaos. "Join us." In that moment, Emma understood. They faced something beyond her comprehension, a force that didn't just hunger for souls, but thrived on despair. As shadows coiled tighter, threatening to engulf them whole, Emma made a choice: to fight for her children, for Michael, for herself. With a determined shove, she lunged toward the light blooming at the corner of the room, willing it to be a way out. But the ground shook and everything trembled as darkness seeped into her mind. Would they be swallowed by the abyss? Or could love light the way amidst the creeping dread? The laughter roared, shaking the very foundation, drowning out reality. What would darkness demand before the light could reclaim its power? The moment Emma lunged, the light grew brighter, a beacon in the engulfing chaos. She felt its warmth drape over her skin, chasing away the biting cold. Michael reached for her, his hand stretching ever farther, but just as their fingers were about to touch, the dark figure lunged. "No!" Emma screamed, grasping wildly at the air. Time slowed, as if she were watching everything unfold within a nightmare. Michael stumbled back, the shadows clawing at him as he tried to shield himself from their reach. The air crackled with a malevolent energy that twisted around them, tangling in their hair, suffocating them. The mocking whispers of the shadows filled the room again, echoing against the walls. "Join us, dear ones, forever lost." "Fight it!" Michael yelled, his voice strained, fighting against the haze that threatened to take him. Emma felt the anguish in his words. It mingled with her own desperate fear. "Hold on to our love." Focus. It was about the children, Jack and Lily. The thought surged through her, a lifeline tethered in this darkness. She had to stay strong. "Jack, Lily," she cried out, her voice cutting through the whispers, fighting back the tides of despair. "I'm coming for you." The shadows screeched, recoiling momentarily, as if her words held power. But the dark figure, furious and wild, reared back, its grotesque form swelling. It was no longer just a shadow. It pulsed with dark energy, churning as it tried to steal away her hope. Without hesitation, Emma squared her shoulders and turned to Michael. "We need to get to the door." Michael nodded, determination etched into his features. Together, they made a break for the back wall, the only thing that felt real in this storm of chaos. But the dark figure charged, its jagged form like barbed wire stretching towards them. "Come, come, embrace the darkness," it beckoned, its voice dripping with malicious glee. Suddenly, a crash shattered the chaos. A window exploded, sending shards of glass like daggers flying through the room and letting a pulse of cold, shrieking wind in. The shadows whirled, scrambling to adjust, and Emma seized the moment. "Now!" she shouted, gripping Michael's hand, and they dashed towards the blasted window. The wind howled, a mournful lament as it swept away dark whispers, giving them a brief moment of clarity. As they approached the window, Emma could hear the distant cries of her children, faint yet echoing with urgency. She hesitated, torn between the real world outside and the spectral pull of the shadows that threatened to consume them. "Let's go," Michael urged, dragging her close. But just then, the ground trembled violently, and the walls pulsed like a living heart. A sudden panic overtook Emma. "Michael, we can't let it take us." "We will break free, together," he shouted, just as the dark figure lunged, its tendrils reaching with unnatural speed. Emma felt a jolt as they both leapt for the window, the sharp glass cutting into her palm, but she didn't care. Time stretched painfully, muffling their cries as the shadows surged around, eager to embrace their prey. With one last push, they broke through the glass. The world outside felt like a breath, suspended for a heartbeat, before the shadows recoiled, swirling back into the depths of the room. But a tug of icy fingers grabbed at her ankle. Darkness clawed viciously, and a voice shrieked, "You cannot escape your fate!" Emma gasped, the sudden coldness wrapping around her, and she felt herself being pulled back. "Michael!" she screamed. In that instant, the darkness threatened to drag her under, and she felt the weight of despair creeping in. Had they sacrificed their chance for freedom? With every ounce of will, she fought against the shrouded grip, reaching out for Michael, who was still grappling with the shadows on the other side. Could she pull him free once and for all? Or would they both be lost to the consuming dark forever? The shadows shrieked louder. The fight was far from over. Emma's heart raced as she felt the shadows clawing harder, their icy grip stealing her breath. It felt real, too real. With every ounce of her strength, she twisted, pulling against the dark tendrils. "Michael!" she screamed again, desperation coating her voice. "I can't hold on!" His face was a mask of sheer determination. "You have to. I'm right here." Shadows writhed, pulsating like vipers, cutting through the space between them. Emma could see the sickly light of the room flickering in her periphery, taunting her. The whispers morphed into a chorus of sinister laughter, echoing off the walls. "You'll never escape! You're ours!" With renewed vigor, Emma launched herself towards Michael, but the shadows surged, their grip relentless. She could hear him grunting, struggling against their pull. "Don't let go!" Suddenly, she felt weightless, as if the world around her had collapsed into itself. Emma glanced back at the room, an abyss of swirling blackness. The dark figure loomed larger, a churning mass of hatred. Each flicker of its form punctuated by glistening eyes, hungry, watching. "Pull me up," she urged, sweat mingling with the tears blurring her vision. But it was getting harder. The shadows were seeping into her mind, whispering fears she thought long buried. "You'll never find your children," they taunted. "They'll be lost like you." "No!" she cried, shaking her head violently, trying to dispel the darkness threatening to engulf her. The memories of Jack and Lily pulsed through her. Laughter, warmth, the soft pressure of their small hands in hers. "Focus on them!" Michael shouted, his voice a pinpoint of light. "We're coming for you, kids! Hold on!" The strength of his resolve surged through her like a lifeline. In that moment, Emma felt her mother's love wrap around her, a force born of sacrifice and hope. "I'm not losing you," she spat, determination flooding her veins. With a renewed ferocity, she grasped Michael's outstretched hand, pulling with every ounce of power she had left. The shadows shrieked as they fought against her will. But Emma pressed forward, their bond burning against the chill of despair. The moment their fingers connected, a blinding light erupted, illuminating the darkness. Shards of light sliced through the shadows, breaking them apart like brittle vines, scattering the whispers. But the darkness was relentless. "This isn't over!" it shrieked, desperation lacing its voice, as pools of shadow began to collapse, swirling frantically. The pressure on Emma's ankle began to loosen, but she knew better than to celebrate just yet. "Run!" she yelled to Michael, who was still anchored in the chaos, his face a mask of pain and fear. The dark figure launched itself forward, shrieking in outrage. Emma's stomach plunged as she saw it reach for Michael again, an avalanche of shadow cascading down the wall behind him, forming a wave of despair that might swallow them whole. With a final surge of hope, she locked her arm around his, yanking him toward the open air. They stumbled, crashing to the ground outside, their bodies rolling onto the wet grass. They gasped for air, the cool breeze washing over their shock-stricken faces. But the momentary relief slipped away when shadows loomed at the edges of the light, whispering promises of despair. The darkness didn't just threaten to take them back, It lingered, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. "Michael, what if," she started, terror creeping into her voice. "What if they're not safe?" Suddenly, an echo reached them, a haunting reminder of the cries still trapped inside the shadows. "Emma, Mommy!" The faintest sound, but unmistakably her children. Panic surged as Emma grasped Michael's arm tighter. "We have to go! We have to find them! Now!" But as they scrambled to their feet, the shadows closed in around the house, the darkness pulsing with ominous energy. It felt as if the entire world held its breath, waiting. "Together," Michael murmured, determination flaring in his eyes. But would together be enough this time? The darkness writhed, each second feeling stretched tight like a coiled spring ready to snap. They had escaped, yes, but what awaited them in the haunted depths? Emma's breath caught in her throat. The fight was far from over. What lay ahead, lurking in the dark? Emma and Michael stood on the verge of the shadowed house, the air thick with echoes of despair. Each heartbeat taunted them, a reminder that time was slipping away. The cries grew louder, more desperate, urging them into the black abyss. "Where do we go now?" Michael asked, squinting at the ink-stained night. His voice trembled, betraying the brave front. They could be anywhere. Before Emma could answer, the shadows shifted, coiling like serpents around the porch. They whispered sweetly, mocking them with promises of safety. "Stay with us. You won't find them," they hissed, each syllable a dagger in her chest. "Shut up!" Emma screamed, swinging her arms as if to bat the darkness away. "You don't own us!" But the shadows only laughed, a sound that chilled her to the bone. It was a game to them. They thrived on fear, intoxicatingly violent and beautifully malevolent. "You think you're free? You only dug your grave deeper." "Stay focused! We need to find the door!" Michael shouted, scanning the perimeter. His gaze landed on a faint glimmer, a pale shaft of silver light breaking through the gloom behind a mass of swirling shadows. "Over there," Emma pointed, her heart racing as adrenaline surged. "That could be a way in." They dashed toward the faint light, but the darkness erupted around them, thickening like a storm cloud. It tightened, squeezing their lungs and filling their minds with a chaotic symphony of screams echoing from all directions. The shadows wrapped around Michael's legs, pulling him down. "Emma!" he cried, his voice cracking as he struggled against their grasp. "Hold on!" she pleaded, lunging forward to grip his arm. The shadows shrieked with fury, but her will was steeled with the memory of her children. She imagined Jack's bright smile, Lily's infectious laughter, and nothing would stop her from reaching them. With a surge of defiance, she pulled hard, feeling the shadows rip and tear as they receded. Michael stumbled toward her, gasping for breath, and they broke through into the light. They both staggered, trying to steady themselves in the surreal glow that filled the abandoned hallway. Dust motes danced in the air, swirling like whispers as the serenity disintegrated into horrifying silence. It was too tranquil and eerie. "Listen," Michael said quietly, his breath ragged. "Do you hear that?" The sound of muffled cries echoed through the walls, growing stronger and more frantic. "Emma! Mommy!" The voices of her children melted away the remaining fear, filling her with a burning need. "Yes, that's them!" Emma shouted, bolting forward. But the floorboards creaked ominously, a warning that each step stirred the stillness of the house. As they moved deeper, the walls seemed to close in, painted in grotesque shadows that flickered with life. Paint peeled, revealing scars that told stories of those who had sought refuge here, only to become trapped. "What if it's a trap?" Michael whispered, anxiety tightening his tone. "What if they're not really—" "We don't have time for doubts," she cut him off. "They need us, now." At that moment, a chill swept through the air. Emma shivered, recognizing the familiar touch of dread. The cries became shrieks, echoing off the walls, morphing into a cacophony of anguish. Emma, help us! Almost there, she shouted, feeling the shadows clutching at her ankles. She glanced behind. What once was a fading dream of hope was now a dark tide, swelling massively, hungry for them. Michael gasped, pulling her back as they neared a door at the end of the hallway. The shadows writhed like live wires around it. It's here, but look at that. The door seemed to pulse with a heartbeat, a grotesque rhythm synced with the cries. Emma, help us! Almost there, she shouted, feeling the shadows clutching at her ankles. She glanced behind. What once was a fading dream of hope was now a dark tide, swelling massively, hungry for them. Michael gasped, pulling her back as they neared a door at the end of the hallway. The shadows writhed like live wires around it. It's here, but look at that! The door seemed to pulse with a heartbeat, a grotesque rhythm synced with the cries. The moment they stepped closer, the door creaked open slightly, promising access, yet foreshadowing peril. That's it, stay together, Emma urged, her voice barely above a whisper now. They were so close, but the nearer they got, the more the house moaned in protest, shaking with a violent shudder. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, a tangible barrier that sealed their fate. What the hell? Michael gasped, slamming his fists against it. Get it open! Desperation fueled them as they pounded against the door, the shadows closing in, their whispers slithering through the cracks. Mommy, Emma, save us! Almost there, she shouted, feeling the shadows clutching at her ankles. She glanced behind. What once was a fading dream of hope was now a dark tide, swelling massively, hungry for them. Michael gasped, pulling her back as they neared a door at the end of the hallway. The shadows writhed like live wires around it. It's here, but look at that! The door seemed to pulse with a heartbeat, a grotesque rhythm synced with the cries. The moment they stepped closer, the door creaked open slightly, promising access, yet foreshadowing peril. That's it, stay together, Emma urged, her voice barely above a whisper now. They were so close, but the nearer they got, the more the house moaned in protest, shaking with a violent shudder. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, a tangible barrier that sealed their fate. What the hell? Michael gasped, slamming his fists against it. Get it open! Desperation fueled them as they pounded against the door, the shadows closing in, their whispers slithering through the cracks. Mommy, Emma, save us! The voices echoed, growing faint, distant. The darkness laughed, its sinister pleasure vibrating through the air. You can't save them. You're all mine now. No! Emma screamed, her heart pounding wildly in her chest. She threw her weight against the door again, but it wouldn't budge. Time was running out. They were alone, just the two of them, and even together they felt the weight of the darkness closing in. What was waiting for them on the other side? And could they even break through to their children before it was too late? A chill grasped Emma's throat as panic tightened. Michael, what if it's a lie? What if this was all a trap designed to lure them deeper into the darkness? And what if the shadows were right all along? Emma pressed her hands against the door, the cold wood splintering under her desperate strength. We have to break it down, she hissed, her breath quickening as the whispers surged, growing louder, more insistent. The air was a heavy shroud of dread, wrapping around them as the shadows twisted. They felt alive, hungry for their fear. Michael stepped back, panting. What if we can't get in? What if they're really... Don't! She couldn't bear the thought. We're going in, now! Together, they threw their weight against the door again, but it remained stubbornly shut, resolutely mocking them. The air grew heavier, thickening like fog, and shadows crept higher, clawing at their legs, caressing their skin with chill, bringing back memories of darkness they wished to forget. Mommy, help! The cries echoed through her mind, a haunting melody that fueled her resolve. But the more she thought about them, the more the shadows squealed in delight. They called you, just for you? How sweet, how helpless. "Stop it!" Emma screamed, wiping her tear-streaked face with the back of her hand. "Get away from us!" But the shadows only laughed harder, a mocking chorus ringing in her ears. Suddenly, the door vibrated with a pulse, responding to her anguish. Emma leaned closer, straining to listen through the core of fear that throbbed in her chest. "Do you hear that? It's fighting against us." "Or it's warning us," Michael voiced hesitantly. "What if something horrible comes out?" The thought chilled her, though she could feel something inside her, a flicker of warmth mixed with terror, pushing her to act. "We need to choose, Michael, us or the darkness." He hesitated, eyes darting around the hallway as shadows danced mockingly at the edges of his vision. "Fighting might not be the answer. We could—" "Let them go?" Emma cut him off, fire igniting in her eyes. "I won't abandon them, not now." With that, she stepped back, gathering every ounce of strength, every shred of will. She charged forward, shoulder first, ramming into the door with her full weight. The impact sent a shock through her entire body, but strangely, it felt right. The door jolted just enough. The shadow shrieked, recoiling as if burned. "That's it!" Emma yelled, adrenaline taking hold. "Again!" Michael joined her, heart pounding like a war drum. Together, they launched themselves against the door, again and again, each hit feeding the fire that blazed in Emma's gut. Finally, with one final push, an ear-splitting crack reverberated through the air as the door flew open, splintering away in a shower of debris, revealing a pitch-black room. It seemed endless, a void where hope disintegrated into despair, and their cries morphed into wails. "Mommy, please!" Jack and Lily's voices echoed like the last breaths of a dying star. "Stop it!" Emma shouted, stepping into the abyss. "We have to reach them!" But stepping into the room felt like stepping into a dream, surreal and disorienting. She turned back to Michael, eyes wide, heart. "What if it swallows us whole?" The shadows lunged forward, swirling toward them like a tidal wave. "Run!" Emma screamed, grabbing Michael's arm and dragging him into the fog. But the cries of her children were relentless, pulling her deeper, and the shadows reached out. The cold tendrils wrapped around them, tightening with every step. "You can't escape," they snarled, their voices dripping with glee. Suddenly, the cries turned into laughter, joyful, manic, wicked laughter. "You've come to join us, finally!" "No!" Emma shouted, panic twisting her gut like a knife. She stumbled forward, tripping over an unseen hazard. The darkness slithered closer, dragging at her feet, eager to drown them both. In that moment, she felt a surge of defiance rising within her. "I'm coming for you!" she yelled into the abyss, her voice echoing fiercely. The shadows paused, quivering. "Insignificant little fool," they hissed, their hisses merging with her resolve. And then, as her vision punctuated with black spots, something glimmered through the darkness, the briefest flash of light amidst the chaos. Hope sparked. Was it real? Was this the key to break the nightmares that shackled them? Desperate, she surged forward again, this time with Michael at her side. But the rush of time felt like a noose tightening around her throat, choking the last breaths of her children's pleas. What had she stepped into? Would they succeed in breaking through, or would they be swallowed whole by the shadows and the laughter of something dark and gnarled? "Emma, I can't hold on much longer." Michael's voice broke through the impending darkness, desperate and fraying. The laughter crescendoed, drowning their voices, and in that moment, the shadows lunged. Would they find a way out, or succumb to the malevolent force feasting on their worst fears? The darkness swallowed them whole, a suffocating maze that seemed to stretch on endlessly, pulsating with life. Emma's heart raced, a drumbeat of pure terror. She could feel the shadows wrapping around her, dragging her into their cold, unrelenting embrace. "Stay close," she gasped at Michael, their breaths mingling in the thick, saturated air. The laughter surged again, higher and wilder, a cacophony that wrapped around them. "They don't want you here," it cackled, echoing off unseen walls. "You can't save them." "No!" Emma's scream burst forth, sharper than glass. She blinked back tears as the chaos closed in. "We'll find them. We have to." Michael's grip tightened on her arm. "Emma, think. There has to be a way out of this." The panic in his voice matched the pounding of her heart. Ahead, that flicker of light pulsed again, a heartbeat in the abyss. "There!" Emma pointed, summoning every ounce of courage. "We follow that." The shadows hissed, angry that she had spotted hope. They whipped around, tendrils snaring at her feet, dragging her down. "You'll regret this," the shadows shrieked, their whispers clawing at her mind. "You should have stayed away from us." Ignoring the dread pooling in her stomach, Emma pressed forward, tugging Michael along. "We can't let them win. Focus on the light." But as they stumbled through the fog, the laughter grew louder, turning into shrieks, as if the shadows were mocking them. "Foolish mortals, you think you can escape what you've unleashed?" The light shimmered, flickering like a dying flame, and with it came a sudden clarity. Emma hesitated. "What if it's a trap?" "Maybe, but it's the only option we have," Michael argued, fear igniting rebellion in his voice. Everything in her screamed to turn back. Every instinct about survival howled. "But what if we lose each other in there? Then we fight together." He pulled her forward into the brightening glow. "Together." In a moment of determination, Emma surged ahead, dragging Michael into the veil of light. They stumbled through to the other side, landing heavily on a cold stone floor. They gasped at the sterile brightness, eyes adjusting to their new surroundings. It was a cavern, beautifully adorned with crystalline formations all around, reflecting the light in mesmerizing patterns. But the beauty felt haunting, as if it was mocking the pain they had just endured. The laughter echoed here too, but it sounded distant, like a ghost long gone. "Where are we?" Michael muttered, peering around. "We shouldn't be here." "Mommy, help us!" Jack's voice rang out again, clearer somehow. "I can hear them." Emma took off, sprinting deeper into the cavern, driven by the sound. The walls seemed to pulse in time with her heart, each thud resonating with dread. "Wait!" Michael shouted, but she couldn't. "We need to stick together." Without looking back, she called over her shoulder. "I need to find them. I can't let them stay trapped." The shadows had not followed, but they loomed at the edges of her mind. Each step felt heavy with the weight of dread, like a cloak that insisted on wrapping around her shoulders. "Where are you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. The air shifted, became thick and sticky like syrup. She shivered as a chilling realization crept in. "What if they're—" The laughter returned, louder, snapping her thoughts apart. "You really think they're here? In this light? Oh, how sweet!" The cavern shifted around her, shapes morphing in her periphery. "What do you want?" Emma screamed into the void. A figure emerged from the shadows, shapeless yet horrifying, its eyes burning into her. "Everything," it whispered, a guttural sound that interrupted the laughter. The light behind her dimmed, replaced by an encroaching darkness, as the shadows began to spill back into the cavern, inching toward her with malicious intent. "Emma, we need to leave!" Michael's voice sliced through her panic, faced with the oncoming tide of terror. "No, I won't let them take you!" The shadows lunged, sweeping across the cavern in menacing waves. And right as they seemed ready to engulf her completely, a door appeared at the far end of the cavern, barely visible. "There!" she pointed, barely believing what she saw. "But it could lead to—" "It doesn't matter," Emma snapped back, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "We have to try." Together they ran, but as they neared the door, a howl erupted. "You'll never escape! Join us or perish!" With a surge of desperation, they flung themselves through the doorway just as the shadows coiled to grab them, bursting out into another dark corridor, breathless and trembling. But the echoes of Jack and Lily's cries still haunted them, reverberating through the air, a chilling reminder that they weren't safe yet. "Emma," Michael whispered, breath shaking, "what if we can't find them?" She turned, dread pooling again. "Then we'll face whatever this is, together." With just those words lingering in the air, the ground began to tremble beneath them, signaling that something much darker was still coming and ready to claim its due. What awaited them in the depths beyond that door? Did they have the strength to confront the terror hidden within? Emma and Michael stood side by side at the end of the dark corridor, hearts racing and breaths quickening with the weight of uncertainty. The flickering light from the cavern felt distant now, as if they'd stepped out of one grim tale only to be plunged into another. "Keep moving," Emma urged, her voice barely more than a whisper. She tightened her grip on Michael's hand, determination igniting within her. "We can't stop, not now." As they pressed forward, the shadows danced close behind them, malicious laughter echoing off the walls like a twisted symphony. "You think you can escape," they taunted. "You belong to us." Ignoring the chilling voices, Emma focused on the cries of her children. "Jack! Lily!" The sound of their laughter now twisted in the air, urgent, pleading, saturated with fear. "Stay close," Michael said, urgency slicing through the fear. With every step, Emma could feel the darkness pushing against her mind, clawing at her resolve, feeding on every flicker of doubt. Suddenly, another door appeared ahead, framed in a faint glow. Relief surged within her. "That's it!" she shouted, pulling Michael toward it. The shadows stirred, sensing their movement, shrieking as if in warning. "Emma, don't!" Before she could fully register his warning, she flung the door open. A blinding light poured out, threatening to engulf them. "No turning back!" Emma shouted as they hurled themselves into the brightness, heartbeats racing in sync. They stumbled into a wide-open space filled with pale, ghostly light. The walls shimmered, transforming before their eyes, revealing the outline of a playground bathed in an ethereal glow. Seesaws and swings stood silent, anchored by rusting chains, time-worn, but somehow inviting. But where were Jack and Lily? "Look," Michael pointed. In the distance, by the sandbox, two figures. They're children. They appeared to be playing. Emma's heart soared. "Jack! Lily!" Both kids turned, smiles broad on their faces. "Mommy! Daddy!" they cheered as they rushed towards them, laughter soft but echoing through the air. It felt like hope wrapped in joy. "Stay close," Emma called, but as they ran, shadows rushed behind them, growing thicker, darker. "Join us forever," they wailed, echoing through the playground like an unholy choir. Emma's gut twisted. She could feel the pull of the darkness trying to drag her away, filling her with dread. But her children, they were so close. "Don't stop," Michael shouted, guiding Emma as she pushed forward with all her might. The playground started to dissolve, shadows tugging at the edges, threatening to engulf them all. "No!" Emma screamed, lunging toward her children. "I can see them," Michael gasped. "Just a bit more." "Come on, guys, we're right here," Emma urged, kneeling as Jack and Lily closed the distance. Just when she was about to wrap them in her arms, a dark figure clawed into view, sinister eyes locking onto hers. "You think you can take them from us?" it hissed, voice laden with ancient dread. The shadows swirled, thickening around her family. "No!" Emma yelled, stepping in front of her children. "You will not take them!" "Foolish mortal!" The figure advanced, shadows lunging toward them. With a primal roar, Emma felt a raw surge of defiance. "We are more than your prey." Her heart beat strong, fueled by the love for her children. She reached into her chest and pulled out the glowing warmth, the love she carried for Jack and Lily. The light pulsed and erupted from her, filling the air, pushing against the encroaching shadow like a bright hand, burning through their darkness. "Step back," she commanded, and to her shock, the shadows recoiled, hissing. "No!" they shrieked. "This is not the end!" Ignoring their threats, Emma turned back to Jack and Lily, eyes wide with love. "You're safe now. Come here." She reached out, and they surged toward her, clutching her tightly. But the shadows erupted into a raging tempest, swirling wildly. "You will pay!" Suddenly, Michael stepped beside her, holding the children close. "Together, Emma." As one, they focused on the light radiating from Emma, amplifying that warmth, feeling it soar through the air around them like a wave. The shadows clashed against it, angry at being challenged. "You cannot take our light!" In that moment, the air shimmered. The shadows began to evaporate like mist before the rising sun, screeching in fury. With renewed resolve, Emma shouted, "Leave us!" Bright light exploded from their connection, engulfed in a burst of shimmering energy. The darkness writhed and screamed, but it was no match for the love bound between them. "Mommy!" Jack shouted, eyes shining with awe. The shadows flickered, faltered, and in their desperation retreated entirely, shrinking back into the darkness from which they came. As the light settled, they stood there, safe. The playground faded, crumbling around them back into the shadows. All that remained was a soft glow. "Did we do it?" Lily asked, bewildered, clutching on to Emma's leg. Emma knelt, wrapping her arms around her children tightly. "Yes, we did! We're free!" Michael looked at Emma, tears in his eyes, pride glowing in his expression. "We fought for them, for us!" With a calm heartbeat, Emma took in the moment, the warmth of her family, the echoes of past fears now silenced. They had faced the darkness together, borne through the void, and emerged into light. She turned to Michael, smiles breaking free. "We won't forget, but we'll carry this love forward." "Together," Michael replied, pulling Emma in close. Jack and Lily hugged them tight, laughter bubbling through the air, finally light and free from the shadows that once threatened to consume them all. As they walked back hand in hand into the embracing warmth, Emma vowed to keep their story alive, a tale of courage, love, and unity against the shadows, and perhaps a reminder that no matter how deep the darkness, love could always light the way. Now more than ever, she understood what needed to be done. Share their journey, their battle, and the strength they carried together. So remember, if you found solace in this eerie tale of triumph against the darkness, you need to subscribe now so you don't miss out on the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. And for the love of storytelling, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share and show your support for the channel.